It's gonna. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the July 12th Chamber Zoom meeting. I am going to introduce our brand new board chair, Bailey Davey. Hi,
Hello.
Bailey. And she is going to take over the hosting duties from now on. Kelly Isaacson. See, there goes my ground central, sorry. Kelly Isaacson is now our immediate past chair. She is still on our board, but her chair term ended on June 30th. So Bailey, you need to find somebody to do the pledge. Do we have any volunteers for the pledge? Becky's always good at doing the pledge. You just got to unmute yourself, Becky. Nope, she's not unmuting herself. Okay, Rex Bone, I know you want to do the pledge.
Gotta stand.
Okay, all right. Oh, and he's standing too. He's fancy.
And I got a flag.
Oh, there we go.
See? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's rodeo.
Awesome. Thanks, Rex.
Nobody ever takes a knee at a rodeo. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed. I'm just saying. So.
Okay, I had a good conversation with our chief of police, and unfortunately, their battle of the badges is this week. So we were laughing about how extra saucy the blood's gonna be with some beer during rodeo week. Anyway, okay, so pledge out of the way. Bailey, you just go down the agenda.
Okay, so introduction of new members and guests.
Of course, our guest is Cassandra Hesseltine from the Film Commission. We'll wait and she can give more of her background when we get there. Anybody else have any announcements? Becky, how you doing on flag carriers,
marchers? We're gonna have a quick meeting tomorrow. I think we're getting there. We have a interesting grouping of people, and we'll take more, or football players, or trying to. It's just getting everybody just there. So anyway, it's going to look good no matter what. But still, we'll take more. If there's some family members, anybody on this that would love to march, we're going to meet at 8th and N Street about 9:30. We'll have the trailer there with the flags. March on down to Humboldt, and then we'll put them back in the trailer. So anyway, we need more bodies.
Cool. So chamber announcements from Renee.
Okay. So hope everybody had a good weekend and they're all rested up for this week's rodeo week festivities. Yesterday kicked off our chili cook-off restaurant edition. We are pushing it back into our local restaurants this year and not doing the downtown event that normally would have been today. But that also allowed us to do a rodeo mixer tonight and ribbon cutting. So, change one for another. So we're going to do that at 5:30 tonight. Will be the ribbon cutting up by the rodeo arena. If you want to be in that photo, be there at 5:30 sharp-ish. Because we'll give people a few minutes to get there. Also, chili cook-off, we have 12 participating restaurants. Those include Aztec Grill inside the Fortuna Chevron, Double D Steak, Eel River Brewery, Fresh on Main Street, Hot Deli Burgers, Redwood Cafe, Round Table Pizza, Shots Coffee, Smoke and Barrels, Starbucks, Taco Loco, and Trish's Out of the Way Cafe. If you have not already picked up your Fortuna Rodeo Guide, we have extras here in the office. Inside the rodeo guide is your restaurant passport. So you just take that into any restaurant, try their dish, get a stamp, turn in your completed passports to the chamber office. And we're going to do 12 random drawings of $50 based on the responses. That'll be the first week in August. So you'll have until the end of the month to turn in your passport. And then our winning restaurant, as voted on by the public, will get a snazzy trophy with a cute little chili emblem on the top and $150. And all of that prize money is courtesy of Redwood Capital Bank. So thank you, Redwood Capital. And be sure to go out and show our restaurant some love and eat their chili. We've got a number of dishes and 2 drinks. So a lot of variety there. As I said, we have our mixer tonight. We're going to have live music, beer and wine. We've got goodie bags. We have keys hidden in a few of the bags that'll win you a rodeo hat and a cute little canine dog. And then we'll have Teen Challenge there with kettle corn. We've got some snacks coming from Fresh on Main Street. Beer donated by Hops and Humboldt. Thank you for that. Here comes Bob Judavine. He just missed my big thank you. And wine donated by the North Coast Journal. So we hope to see everybody there at 5:30. We'll also have little restaurant passports inside each of the goodie bags. So if you want a cute little one that is literally passport size, it's so cute. We have these printed at Horizon. Those are special. So you'll get one of those in your goodie bags. Kiwanis pancake breakfast tickets are still on sale here at the office. Those 3 breakfasts are coming up this week and then during Auto Expo. This Friday, like I mentioned, is Battle of the Badges, the blood drive between all law enforcement agencies. Friday outside Safeway is where they will be. Be sure before you go, enjoy your Friday night festivities at the rodeo. Go donate some blood and tell them the Fortuna PD sent you. Also, save the date, July 21st. That is next Wednesday. The volunteer fire department is doing a ribbon cutting for their brand new training center and also a street dedication in memory of David Nicholson. That'll be at 5:30 on Wednesday, the 21st. So we hope to see everybody there. And then finally next week, which may be, fingers crossed, our last Zoom lunch before we go back to in-person. That'll be with Eureka's City Mayor, Susan Seaman, who's going to tell us all about this year's lemonade contest, a lemonade day that happens in August. So that is all I have, and I will turn it back to Bailey. Cool. And then, yeah, if any other additional announcements. I see Bob's on. Bob, you missed my big thank you for chili cook-off. So anyway, yeah, that's it for me. If anybody else has anything, otherwise we can turn it over to Cassandra for our featured presentation.
Is this Miss Bailey's first official meeting?
It is.
I'm sorry I was late.
I'm glad you're here.
She's done a fantastic job so far, Bob.
Oh yeah.
All right, Bailey, if you want to introduce,
I think we'll hand it over to Cassandra then.
Hey.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me as usual. I am going to share my screen here. Yeah, there we go, so that you can see my presentation. And we'll start it from the beginning. All right, well, so again, thank you for having me to present. Sorry it's not in person, but someday I'll be coming back in person to present. It's always great to have lunch with you guys. And the big thing that we had this last year, besides the pandemic, was that we had our 10-year celebration as the nonprofit that we are. So that was really exciting to kind of put everything together and see what have we accomplished and done over the past 10 years. So a couple of my slides will be addressing that. It'll address this fiscal year, past fiscal year of working through the pandemic, and then kind of currently where we are at. Most of you already know this, but we always do this really quick because some people don't. We're the liaison between filmmakers and the county that you represent. Film commissioners could be state, country, county, region, cities. We have 2 counties, Humboldt and Del Norte County. And we market the area for filming. We assist productions when they are here and decide to come here, with scouting locations, permits, vendors, crews, assisting locals, all the things. And more. And then for 24/7, we are literally available 24/7. I've gotten phone calls at 2 in the morning before. And we promote film tourism, which is a big one, which you'll see that we have an app actually coming out for tourism, for movies, for Map of the Movies, which is really exciting. And of course, we are required to offer these services at no charge. So we do not take any money from any of the productions. So the past 10 years, we were pretty excited when we looked at some of the numbers for us, for what we've done. Overall, the region brought in an estimated 11 million direct dollars. Humboldt County was 9.1 of that. So that was exciting. We had 222 productions that we actually helped in the past 10 years. And we, with the economic multiplier, that turns into, for every dollar that they spend, it becomes $2.95. because they don't get like dinner afterwards, or they have days off, or the money circulating within the economy 3 times before it leaves the area. And remember, this is outside money coming in. It becomes 32.7 million for that past 10 years, and Humboldt County being almost 27 million of that, which is very exciting to be part of that. And the return on investment, sometimes people ask a little bit, well, what does that mean? How much has been coming to our office? So in October 2010, Humboldt County and City of Arcata were our 2 funders, and we were operating off of 64,000, the whole office, and which was tiny. And then we added later City of Eureka, Fortuna Chamber, thank you very much, and Del Norte Visitors Bureau, and Humboldt Lodging Alliance. And it says last year's, but what it should mean is like 2 years ago, right before COVID, our office was running off of 235. And then we dropped down to 180 during the current fiscal year. And now, or the one we just had, and now the one that we're going into, it looks like we're going to be more around 200,000. We're still hearing back from some of our funders. So we're going up a little bit, but we're not quite at where we were. Over the past 10 years, the Film Commission operated off of 1.4 million. And that includes fundraisers, events, all our funders. So the economic impact for the decade, again, as a reminder, was 11.1 direct dollars and 32.7 indirect dollars. And our funding was 1.4, coming in. So you can see the return on investment of investing in our office. And part of it, sometimes people say, well, wouldn't the productions have come anyways? And that's not entirely true. Someone needs to answer the phone call. Do you have this location? Can you help me with this problem, with this permit? Do you have an idea of where to go? Do you have crew? Do you have, vendors? Just even marketing the area and letting people know that we exist and reminding them continuously and building those relationships. And again, this only shows you an estimate of what they spent when they were here actually filming, what we guess the actual impact is, and doesn't show you film tourism, which a lot of articles will tell you can bring in a lot more than the actual filming, funding that comes in. So like, for instance, Hunger Games, Harry Potter, all of those movies, people go to those places, Twilight, and we get lots of requests of, hey, where was Star Wars? Where was, this, where was that? So it brings in a lot of money. We've had, and I'll get to it, but we've had over 100,000 views just looking at our Google map for where were the movies filmed at. So the Film Commission the past 10 years has done a lot of stuff, too many things to read, and this is on top of helping productions. This is all the other things that we do. So you guys could check this out. There'll be 2 slides of this, but one of the main things is that we held the region's first FAM tour, bringing in location managers to come check out the area. This was about 6-7 years ago, and we just got approved by the Headwaters Fund grant to do our second one. So we're pretty excited to bring up more location managers and teach them what we have. And there is a massive difference between showing someone a photo and showing them a redwood tree in person. So it's definitely a game changer. This is the second slide of all the things that we've done in the past 10 years. And again, it hit some highlights, which you might already know about, but I was the treasurer for FLICS, which is Film Liaisons in California, statewide. It's all the film commissioners in a nonprofit organization that's sisters with the California Film Commission. So I was treasurer for 2 years, and then I became president for 3.5. The half is because we switched from a calendar to a fiscal year. So I've had the longest running term. And then now I'm immediate past president. And so that was really amazing because it meant all the events that we held and did with the California Film Commission, for studios and location managers, I often would be giving a speech, and it really put us on the map. I also, during the pandemic, was able to complete my Film Commission international certification. So I'm actually certified now as an international film commissioner. So that is awesome. And we, right before the pandemic, we became one of 5 finalists for Outstanding Film Office for the Location Managers Guild International. So basically that's a nomination for the best film commissioner of the world. And we were one of 5 for that year. So that was an honor, huge honor. And I also was asked to speak, and I made this a couple of days right before I actually was asked. And so I have already done this now. I was asked to speak. The Emmys put on panels for producers and directors, and I was asked to moderate and speak on behalf of filming in California and specifically outside of LA. So that just happened a couple of weeks ago, and supposedly the video is going to be put on Emmy.com. So that was pretty exciting. Filming during COVID, that was a little bit rough to bring in productions. And, you know, first of all, what we ended up having to do was go through, obviously, we all had to wait, the entire state had to wait till the state put out regulations on how filming should happen in California. And then you had to go to your county, public health, and I had to go to both of mine and get them to decide together, the three of us, how we were going to do things. And basically all productions had to come through our office. They no longer could get a permit from anyone, including a federal agency, a state agency, nobody, without coming to my office first, filling out the form, hearing all the details of what our requirements were if you're going to film in our area. Like, you can't take our hospital beds, you know, and helping us make the community feel, you know, safe. And, you know, there was couple different requirements there. And then they had to sign that and have a COVID officer who was going to head this part of their production. So it was a little stressful, you know, to bring in people from LA, from a hotbed, you know, or anywhere else, people who were traveling. And so we were able to do it. We didn't have anybody enter the county with COVID. And the movie that did come, which I'll tell you a little bit more about, I'm about to sneeze. So if I sneeze, forgive me, I can feel it. There's a trick though. If you're ever presenting or you're on stage, you're supposed to say watermelon, 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 and it will stop you from sneezing. But I just gave my trick away. So yeah, so they would test every day. They brought in their own lab, and it was pretty amazing. I actually had a mom whose child was in the movie, and they, she said the safest place, she goes, what it took for me to get on set with my child, she goes, it makes me realize the safest she felt was on set because of all the hoops and testing and things that they had to do. So we felt really good about what we were able to accomplish during such a serious situation. We now have gone back to lesser regulations. And so the productions themselves still have severe regulations, but the public health has now said, okay, just follow the state rules and follow any OSHA rules. And so they're no longer required to now have to go through my office. But I think at this point, many are used to now talking to the film commissioners and say, hey, what's going on in your area, which is great. So this past fiscal year that just happened, this shows you what Del Norte County did and what Humboldt County did. Again, we do both. And what's great about doing both is if someone calls me about Del Norte County, I can say, oh, I have this in Humboldt. You know, I don't have that in Del Norte, but I have it in Humboldt, or vice versa. Or somebody will look at the whole thing. When we did After Earth with Will Smith, they didn't see a county line. They just saw redwood trees everywhere, and they were trying to pick which one. And they ended up in Humboldt. But so it really is a win-win when representing both. And as you can see, Humboldt County ends up, because we have a lot more resources, ends up being the one where a lot more filming happens. So we were able to bring in, during this last fiscal year, during the pandemic, 2.3 estimated dollars, which indirectly became 6.8 after the multiplier. So we felt pretty good about that it was actually one of our bigger years considering, and we were pretty excited again to do that without having any outside cases enter the county. So this is the feature film. It's called The Sky is Everywhere. We called it Clarinet while they were here, so you might have heard about it. They filmed here for 7 weeks, and top secret, but they did film at a location in Fortuna. So as long as you guys don't end up on the, cutting room floor, there should be a very important scene that takes place in Fortuna. So that's exciting. And the movie overall in the county, this is just kind of an example, a case study that shows you what it's like when productions can come, especially if you have an entire feature film. It shows you kind of the breakdown of, they spent 43% of the 2.1 million was at lodging. There was food, 23,000, that's probably just office food. So one of the numbers missing is what did the caterer spend? So this is just what the movie spent. but doesn't include that there was a caterer for 7 weeks who would go get food. So we're actually missing numbers. So these numbers should be higher. But that's a perfect example of how these are just estimates. And usually there's probably actually more money that we didn't get all those numbers. Local vendors was 25% of their budget, and it was almost $500,000 or $4.25 million. The local crew, 190,000. Local background actors, which they had 500 actors, which was amazing, 120,000. And then location fees, 230,000. And in that 230,000 would include the Fortuna location. So that's pretty exciting. This is some pictures that we have. This is Eureka, but this is the only photos that we were able to grab with them, showing them practicing, rehearsing at the gazebo area. And we're pretty excited. We hope that the movie comes out, either in fall, winter, or spring. I think at the latest, it'll be on Apple TV. And I'm assuming in the theaters as well. It was directed by Josephine Decker. So she's kind of a big Sundance director. And she did the movie Shirley, that's on Hulu. So, which is a little bit more of a darker movie. It's about the author Shirley. But this is more of a light teenage love story, has some musical acts in it, thus them looking like they're dancing. So one of the other things we did during our downtime was we did a new website, and it was time for a new look, as well as merging everything. 7-8 years ago when we were doing our website, before it made more sense to have like a homepage, and then you could either enter Humboldt County or you could go into Del Norte County. And really now with the technology and everything, it's so much better for us just to have everything together. And then, because again, if they're looking in Del Norte, oh, what's in Humboldt, vice versa, and all of that. So, and it really shows that we have a lot more. So you can kind of see, these are long pages, but it kind of just gives you a look at the style of what's going on with our new site, which we're still finessing, but feel free to take a look at it. Excuse me. So this is the map of the movies that I was telling you about, and the new app, which should be coming out, I believe, either late this week or next week, and it'll have like a kind of a soft launch. And what's really exciting about this is not only is it an app, so people don't have to download off of our website. We'll leave that option up, and they can go to Google Maps. So we'll leave those options up, and we may or may not still print the paper brochure. But what's exciting about the app is it's so much more accessible now at this point. And not only does it, if you look, here where my little arrow is, this is basically what the map will look like, and it'll have these little icons, and it'll show you where the movies are. The numbers are about how many projects are right around that area. So there's like 4 there, 2 there, 13 in Eureka, So it shows you where the projects are. You go in, click one, you can see then a specific one, and then you can click that, and it takes you to the poster, the IMDb, the official trailer, how to get there, little information about it being locally, what happened, and then it tells you where our marker is. When you first open the app, it'll explain the app itself. It'll show you our markers and how you can go visit the marker, and then that part will go away. And then from then on, when you open the app, it'll bring you to this map. The other component, which it's not shown on here, is that we've now also added hotels and restaurants. So when you go and you go, oh, I want to go visit, Death and Con in Fortuna, you then can see what restaurants are by there and what hotels are by there, if that's your favorite movie and you want to stay and eat by there. So it really increases tourism, not only about the movie itself, but about, the hotels and the restaurants. So we were really excited when we added those features. We also have a couple other features we're going to be adding later. We'll do some voiceover work, some introductory type things, some videos, maybe the capability of adding a photo up, loading a photo that then goes to our sites. So yeah, we have some other, exciting things that we think that we'll be able to add to it to continue to make it even more exciting for tourists. The rumor is that this might be the first Humboldt County centric tourist app. So that's pretty exciting, to get this out there. And I think it's perfect timing right now. A lot of people do want to travel, and a lot of this is outdoors. So we are desperately pushing for this to happen ASAP. And so as far as I know, the app builders are pushing it to the store right now. And it takes a couple days, and then we can look at it one more time and then have a soft launch. The other thing we did during our downtime is we did something called Meet the Expert. And this is a series of interviews. We actually have one more to add, and we're going to keep adding them, not as frequent as we were doing. But this is a series of interviews that we started off with some of the amazing locals that we have that live here. For instance, Stevie Nilsson is a location manager that she lives here, but leaves the area and works on TV shows like House. And then we have Lori and JP, who just moved here about a year ago, and they did props and worked for Saturday Night Live, the TV show. So SNL. So they did set decorating and prop master. So we went, wow, we have these, and we have other people as well. Maria Mattioli, who's a director, film director, and Heather Frank, who's a producer, and her partner, who's a editor. And so we went, we have all these people locally. Why don't we make these videos and give them to the schools, to Humboldt County, to the junior college, the high schools. And then that way we're helping educate locals who want to, and have it on YouTube, locals who want to work in the industry. And it teaches them a little bit more about what it's like to be a professional. And then specifically, if you live here, how do you get into it? So each one targets all of that. From there, Stevie introduced us to people like Jim Vickers, who's a stunt coordinator. And he did Don Johnson shows and lots of things. And he was the guy who actually changed how we do stunts where you get hit by a car. And he talked about how, back in the day, it was a 50-50 chance that you actually got hit by the car, and you didn't know, it was 100% chance you got hit by the car, 50-50 whether you actually went to the hospital or not. It was something, I think that was the ratio. Yeah. So he was like, why do we do it that way when, here's the person, they get hit by the car, they end up on the car and fly off. When he watched what angles they took and the cameras and what they did, he realized there's no need. We should start on the hood of the car, and we stand up and they pull the car out, and they'll just reverse it and blah, 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 all the things. So he figured out how to make it safer. So it was really interesting to hear his interview. And we also interviewed Eve Hothaner. She was the deputy director of the California Film Commission. She's now moving on to the Association Film Commissioner International, but she worked on Titanic. She was the production manager of Titanic. She's worked for Sony. So we had some pretty amazing people to interview. So this is a great series, and I think it's going to be really good as an educational part, which is part of our mission, is to educate our community on how to work in the industry. So all of that is done by a staff of 2, myself and Nate Adams. We have board members, interns, advisors, community partnerships, and funders like you guys. And that's how we, are able to operate 24/7. And this last slide is just really kind of to be totally transparent, because, we always come in and usually are the happy message of all the great things that's going on. But we realized at some point that we really needed it to be a little bit clear so that people can understand that our office sometimes is hurting too. That we have underpaid staff, and specifically my assistant, as well as we're understaffed. We need a 3rd person in the office desperately. We haven't had retirement for the past 10 years, and the office is moving, and there's a slight increase to rent now. And some of our funders have decreased funding. Not you guys, thank you for your check, which I received. But Humboldt Lodging Alliance, some other contributors. And it's, as I mentioned earlier, we're not back up to what we were 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, we were underfunded. So we're really trying to figure out how to solve those problems and keep us going. After 10 years, we're just like, okay, things have improved dramatically in our office, and we still need to keep on going so that we can do our job better. And so that's where we're at with that. But overall, it's been an amazing, I guess we're now on year 11. October will be year 11, and we feel pretty good about things. There's lots of productions interested in staying in California now, since it's really opened up. People still don't want to fly yet. They kind of want to hang out or fly, but fly close to home, all of that. So we've had a lot of requests for filming and interest in us. And so we're pretty excited about what this next year has to offer. That's pretty much it. So I will stop sharing.
So what do you kind of see as some of the trends coming up over the next 12 months now that, you know, COVID hopefully is moving behind us and production companies are looking to get back into theaters?
Yeah, there definitely are, because they're desperate for content. You know, we have everything right now. We just did a huge car commercial. We have the cover of a big magazine. I can't say what it is. We have an episodic television show, very interested in us, which we've never had that. That would be utterly amazing. I went scouting with that director. We had a huge feature film, huge, probably the biggest thing we'll have ever had, that was coming in March of, you know, 20, what year did, I don't even know what year that happened, 2020? And they are looking at possibly coming back. We have a short film, and usually when I say short films, they're, you know, they're a 5-10 minute long film. They're usually 4 or 5 days. It's usually a college student who's, you know, trying to make some type of like calling card for themselves. This is not that. This is a 25-day shoot with a major star in it. And so for whatever reason, they're making this short film, and they're scouting. They're actually coming back with the same location manager of the big movie. So she was just here, Heather McLean, for that movie. And now she's coming back next week with the producers and directors to scout for this 25-day shoot. So yeah, we have all of it. We've had everything, you know, from major to smaller to TV to commercials to magazines. Everybody is out there. And what I'm realizing too, what I'm finding is it's a lot of people I've already worked with are like, hey, I know you, I know your area, I know what I'm going to get. And because they already have a whole bunch of other things they have to deal with that's new. So I'm finding a lot of people I've worked with are reaching out often, like once a week. We're on a new thing now. We're on this, we're on that, whatever. And constantly, I mean, same person like once a week, you know, and multiple people are doing that. So it's been really interesting. You know, back after 9/11, the same thing happened. There was a surge of filming in California. And that really was, again, the same thing. People want to stay closer to home. And we also just passed a huge increase to the California tax incentive, which means pushing for more projects, and specifically a lot of television. But the governor, you know, signed off on adding a lot more to the California tax incentive program. So I think between all of that, we're going to experience a lot of filming this next year.
Great. And you mentioned on that app, which I'm very excited for, because I have to say, you know, as the visitor center, we get a ton of people coming through and they love the maps of the movie. They're like, that was filmed here. They get super excited. So I'm glad there's an app. That'll be a lot of fun. You mentioned that hotels and restaurants will be mentioned around some of the areas. How do people get included if you know, they're a restaurant, or you just adding them? Or
for right now, what we wanted to do is we thought about that, you know, and so right now we just edit everybody. I believe it comes from the Google map that would populate that automatically. So if they're on there, then they get added on there. We didn't go out and like hunt everybody down. So yeah. If you're already on Google Maps, you know, you've done a Google registration on there, then you are automatically part of it. That's how we decided to do it. It was the easiest for us.
Yeah.
And then there was a slight glitch in the way that it transferred the information. So it did a little bit, maybe less, like not always a website. And what we kind of talked about later was possibly, because it does cost us. And again, we're underfunded a little bit. So it is costing us a couple thousand to host this and make changes and do things every year. One of the things that we are thinking about doing is later down the road, that if you want to beef up your information that's on there, then, you know, automatically everybody would have a free version, and then you can pay to beef up. I don't want to make it that it's just a cost thing, especially right now when a lot of places need to recover. But then later as well, then you only have 6 restaurants on there and the rest didn't pay and we eliminate them. Just doesn't seem right. So we wanted everybody on there, and then maybe there could be a higher tier of you could pay for that, and that might help us pay for the cost of the app.
Right. that makes sense. And are your conferences and things kind of getting back to normal? I know you guys travel and.
Right. So what was really interesting was I was able to do the London conference during the pandemic via Zoom. So
wow.
Yeah, we had all these one-on-one meetings. I think I did 15 one-on-one meetings with producers and directors that were all over the world. So that was really exciting. So I think what I hear is a lot of them are going to try to come back and are coming back as hybrid. So either you can go in person or you can do them from home. I did Sundance at home. So that was really exciting. So yeah, a lot of it will come down to whether I can travel or not based on my budget. So, which we're trying to vote in this week. We'll be voting in kind of a preliminary budget because there is possibly one more funding. There's a couple smaller ones, but one more major funding, one-time grant that we might be able to get, but we won't know that for a month or two. So that'll change what we're able to do. So as of right now, yeah, we're having to cut some of the travel and some of the marketing because of the budget cuts that happened to us. But I do plan on attending the most important things.
Great. Awesome. Any other questions from the panel? No? Well, great. Well, thank you, Cassandra. It's always great to see you. We, through our tourism and marketing committee, we just love supporting the Film Commission, and we just feel like it's such a great thing for our area. And driving in those tourism dollars, that multiplier is really important to know and appreciate. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Rex,
thank you.
Rex, did you have anything you wanted to add, or you just pop back on to say hi?
Oh no, I've heard the presentation a couple times. Cassandra, how much does Del Norte give? Do you get money from Del Norte and any of the bodies, their lodging alliance or anything up there?
They give, it depends on what's going on for them, but anywhere, like they went from, only a couple thousand to up to, I believe their highest ever was about 15,000. They dropped down to about 12.5. And I think last year they gave us 10, and they're hoping to start working back up. And we definitely pay attention to the proportion. First of all, they don't have as many locations, as well as, the proportion of time that we put into them. It's not the same. Our heavy hitter is Humboldt County. So we definitely aren't disproportionate as far as time and where we put our energies. The one good thing about Del Norte is we had Bird Box, which was the #1 downloaded movie ever. And anytime when I was at Sundance and the movie had just come out, I went to Sundance and was able to say, have you seen Bird Box? If they go, oh, Humboldt Del Norte, I don't know that area. Have you seen Bird Box? Yes. Okay. Well, those redwood trees, that's what it looks like, so it's a great calling card. We got our money's worth when we were able to get Bird Box out of them. So but they definitely, I would love to increase their dollar amount. But they don't have as many locations. So it does work out that time-wise, we don't spend a lot of time with them. But it's a great question. And the other thing I wanted to say is I know there's not a lot of filming that happens in Fortuna. I mean, obviously we're always trying to push for that, but what ends up happening more often is when people want to film in Humboldt Redwood State Park, they stay in Fortuna. And a lot of the crew does. So, which we get a lot of filming in Humboldt Redwood State Park. So keep that in mind, that's really where you guys end up getting your dollars, is in restaurants and hotels from filming around your area. You guys are a great resource for productions that way.
Bull Creek and up over Malfunction Junction and up by Russ's and everything else. There's quite a few commercials getting done. I mean, I've probably worked on 20, 25 before the film, but 20, 25 commercials, and I don't know how many films. So
yeah, and the Rush Ranch and everything. Yeah, there's a lot. And it's just really, you guys are based in such a great spot for us, for the southern area of, accommodations and restaurants. It's perfect. And 20 minutes is a long way to have to go up to Eureka. So, and that's usually what ends up happening is productions will say, well, where should we stay? And I say, well, where are your locations? And then when they're down south, I often will push Fortuna.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
We think we're pretty special here in our little gateway to the.
Everyone's always been happy. I've never had a complaint, not once.
You you've got parking for production vehicles that isn't quite as available in Eureka.
And that's true. That is true. And you got
No.
all the hotels and they can walk straight to the brewery. I mean, they love that, you know.
Yeah.
And a matter of fact, Heather, the location manager, said, I'm going to read direct quote from her text, which was, the creative team really enjoyed their time at the location in Fortuna. They said that they were super nice. So that's really great. So you guys had a really great experience, you know, last year.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to hear. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody. And don't forget, enjoy Rodeo this week. Go eat some chili, more chili than you probably need in your life, but there's 12 opportunities to go get some chili. And then we'll see whoever's free tonight at our mixer at 5:30 at Roner Park. Again, live music, goodies, just a relaxing time. No announcements, no door prizes, but we'll have goodie bags with some keys hidden them for some prizes. So it'll be fun. Hopefully, looks like it's kind of starting to burn off. So hopefully it'll be a little bit nicer, but we'll see everybody next Monday for Lemonade Day with City of Eureka Mayor Susan Seaman. So thanks everybody. Enjoy Rodeo. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.